you can never accomplish anything by yourself. It's all about teamwork and having that support system. And thankful for the mentors that I have, because they're the ones that have told me, like, be involved, network, because you're going to learn things that you've never thought you would, and we're stronger together and united. So I try to take opportunities as they come.
Up next on the podcast, we talk to part of the future of our profession. Third-year PT student from Duke University, Said Mendez. Said gives us his backstory, his superhero origin story, and then talks about the reasons that he's at a conference like AAOMPT while getting his DPT taken care of. Why would he do something a little bit extra, off the beaten path and outside the syllabus? He explains what he's looking for in his experience here at AAOMPT, and maybe he'll encourage a student out there to join him as well. He also gives us some insights into what he thinks is the most promising parts of our profession looking forward. This is Hands On, Hands Off. Said, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Nice to be here, Jimmy.
What is I always like to ask this question and frame it this way. What's your superhero backstory? How does what do you want the audience to know to give them context about you?
I come from a Mexican immigrant family.
Okay.
Parents are hard workers, and so I really embrace the hard work, the grit, and that's kind of what gets me through and has been getting me through ever since. So, my first language is actually Spanish. I grew up in Mexico for my first 7 years of my life, and then immigrated to the U.S. in 2007. So all the experiences living there and then transitioning to the U.S. and living the American dream is something that really, that's my superhero, is all the grit and obstacles and barriers I've had to overcome. So
that's great. So where are you now? Like where are you presently? What do you get to do?
So I'm currently at Duke. I'm a third-year student.
Yeah.
To this day, I humbly, I'm super blessed. Never thought in a million years that I'd be where I am. So, but not by myself. I've had many mentors throughout my life, and still do, that continuously push me, because a lot of self-doubt kind of growing up as,
Sure.
this whole new place that I'm here, and it's like, learning things, adapting as I go, as my parents worked meatpacking plant, pharmaceutical company. So it's like, how can I continue? They brought me here for opportunities, and so how can I make them proud? How can I keep pushing forward in order to all the sacrifices they made coming to this country? Rewarding and proud.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, good on you. Well, you're here at AAOMPT.
I am.
This is not, the AAOMPT conference is not really on the normal train stop list for a third-year student. So what brings you to AAOMPT? Why was this a destination for you along your trip?
Yeah. So growing up, I actually wanted to be a pilot. Growing up, I wanted to travel, and about the age of 16, I was like, you know what, traveling, and this is the age of 16, so it's like my mind always races to begin with. So it's like, I want to have a family. That's going to be hard to have a family, and so It's like, what things can I do? What careers are out there that I can have a life balance of? I want a family. I want to see. I want to have kids in the future. I want to settle down. And so I first got introduced to PT. My dad had a knee replacement. And he very limited in his English, and so I would go with him to therapy, and a lot of the times I'm from a small town in Nebraska, and they didn't have many translators when they first began, and so I'd be the one helping. If anything, he didn't understand something, I would help that communication barrier, and so that's how I got interested in PT. Now with that, hands-on. I always saw PT hands-on, mobilization, manual therapy. And if you look back many years, a touch has always been a huge thing, right? It means a lot. You fall, someone rubs it. It's
we never really need to teach people that.
Yeah,
they
exactly.
Just sort of know it.
They just know it. They grow up, and even little kids today. I was at Jeremy Lewis, Dr. Jeremy Lewis. He's fascinating, and I absolutely loved his presentation yesterday and today, and it's about touch. It's really about connecting with that person and not, getting everything right with your skills. It's just like touch. And he talked about how, he had, I believe it was his granddaughter, and he had an injury, and she came up and like rubbed it on him. So it goes back to like when no one taught us. It's the healing, the touch that brings. And so that's how I got involved, interested in AAOMPT, and a big mentor, Derek Cluley. He manual therapy and everything, and he's like, this is AAOMPT, and I was like, oh, that sounds interesting to me. Another one is Miles Moore. He just actually graduated Duke last year, and so he was involved with AAOMPT. And so I started picking his brain a little bit. Kyle Covington from Duke as well. So been super blessed to have many mentors that have pushed me. And so, but really what brought me is that power of touch of, how can we help patients? And now it's, evolutionizing since it started, and it's like, now there's more factors to it, and it's the hands-on, hands-off. It's the theme this year. So yeah.
What excites you about the future, not only of your career but the profession? And it might be hard for you to see it, only because you're just beginning. I actually think that your career as a PT starts the minute you walk into PT school. That's when I think the clock starts. But what excites you about the future of the profession from where you sit? A lot of people that are listening to this have all gone through PT school, but they're not there right now. So what's exciting to you for the next 5, 10, 20 years as you sit in your seat in PT school right now?
Yeah, I think, and I mean, I'm into it. I'm in, like you said, I'm in the sauce, as I like to say. So I really like how it's becoming very personal. It's all about getting to know them and being trying to be empathetic with them. And it's more about them connecting with you and trusting and really moving forward in modern. It's not about the skills you bring. It's about really how you connect and that trust. And we know there's all sorts of variables that come in play nowadays. And so I look forward to just kind of seeing how that grows and really coming down to a personal level, because that is something I need to work on. as a student. My first clinical rotation, currently doing my 3, is really being present in the moment. We had I'm on the student SIG board for AAOMPT, and we had Dr. Paul Minkin give a presentation on mindfulness and really being present in the moment. So I think that's just going to keep growing, because a lot of the times we have the patient in front, and it's like we're typing on the computer, we're thinking about the next patient, the previous patient, and really don't take time to be present in the moment. Exactly.
Right there.
So a lot of the themes I've been hearing from presentations is really being present in the moment, really getting to know your patient. So it looks bright, and I'm really excited to continue to work on that and contribute to that.
That's great. All right, so are you in the middle? You said you're in the middle of your first clinical rotation, or you finished that?
I just finished it. I was in Columbus, Ohio, outpatient orthopedics.
Perfect. All right, so what's one thing that you didn't expect, but something that happened during that first clinical rotation? Anything that surprised you that you didn't see coming, but when it hit, you're like, oh, I didn't expect that. That was not on my bingo card.
Not everything is textbook.
What? Who knew, right?
It's complex.
It depends.
It depends. It depends. That's kind of like nothing is. It's really not having an answer to things. It's, let's give this a shot. And I want to give a shout out to Max Westhoven. He graduated from Duke in 2020. He was actually my CI in Columbus, Ohio, and he never really talked about like the root cause of things. Patients come in with symptoms and everything, and a lot of the time you focus on that specific symptom. But something that surprised me is he looked. It's like, okay, what's the root cause that we're seeing? And so that was surprising to me, because it was always like treat symptoms, and yes, we got to treat symptoms, but what's actually the root cause? Okay, let's dive deeper in. So that was something that surprised me, and I really enjoyed it, and I learned a lot from him, of really like thinking about, it's like, okay, you can treat all the symptoms you want, they might be back in 6 in a year because you didn't treat the root cause of and really give them that quality care. You're just treating symptoms, which is great, but not that root cause.
Let me go the flip side of this. What's something that happened that made you feel like you were in the right place, like that maybe you made the right decision about being a physical therapist?
Those those dopamine rushes that you get when you do something, and then I was like, oh my gosh, this feels a lot better. I would say those are the what kind of drives me. It's like I'm in the right profession, or so making someone feel better. Like, hey, I was able to golf today without any pain. It's like this is why I'm doing this. So just it's the satisfaction of like knowing you're improving other people's life. And
Perfect.
Service to me has just been passion of mine since growing up, and so it feels right.
Good. As I mentioned in the beginning of the discussion, AAOMPT isn't required, right? Either being a member, paying attention to the content, or coming to the conference. But you're halfway done with this particular conference. Why is coming to an AAOMPT conference and being involved with these people, why do you think that's important for a physical therapist, a student, to do that?
The power of network, the power of learning from others. You can never accomplish anything by yourself. It's all about teamwork and having that support system. And thankful for the mentors that I have, because they're the ones that have told me, like, be involved, network, because you're going to learn things that you've never thought you would. And it's just the power. We're stronger together and united. So I try to take opportunities as they come, and like you today, learning from you as well. So I've been a big fan. I've started listening to your podcast
Thanks.
through Kyle Covington. He introduced it, and so I've listened to episodes here and there. And so just the power of learning from others is just, it's about the human experience.
Yeah.
So
in both ways, right? So you can listen to a podcast, and that's good for something. And then coming to something like this, I imagine, is vastly different, not better or worse, just really different.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Last thing we do on each episode, we call it the parting shot.
Okay.
What's something you'd want to leave with the audience? Let's talk to your peers, right? Right now it's other students. What's an idea, concept, mic drop moment, soapbox statement, something you want to leave with those people?
Yeah, I think do not be afraid. I think for me, looking back, is I was afraid to step into opportunities like this because I didn't know anyone. It was an uncomfortable situation, so be comfortable in uncomfortable situations, and take that first step, because once you do, like, you never look back. It's only going forward. So take the opportunities. Don't be afraid. Take someone with you. Have them find someone that they can take you under their wing. But don't be afraid. It's a small PT world from what I've learned, and everyone's willing to support you and give you the help you need. So,
awesome. Saeed, thanks so much for stopping by.
Thanks for having me, Jimmy.